Well, my name is Brinsley McNamara and welcome to the Weird Ireland podcast. If you've ever awoken at night to a mysterious click-clank or spotted a spooky shade go past the corner of your view whilst wandering around an old house, you may have had a paranormal run-in with a ghost. For time beyond memory, one of the oldest superstitions in the world has been that of spirits of the dead occupying the earth as otherworldly energies, and this belief probably is as prevalent today as ever. And along with these modern times come methods of investigating paranormal activity that has become more sophisticated. And so today I'm very happy to be with Tina, Billy, and I'm getting
Chris.
Sorry, Chris.
The forgotten child.
So today I'm very happy to be speaking with Tina, Billy, and Chris of Paranormal Researchers Ireland to learn all about their paranormal activities. How are you guys doing today?
Brilliant. Delighted to be here.
So can you describe to us where we're conducting this interview, this paranormal investigation?
So where we are at the minute is Glenart Courtyard, and this is in Arklow, County Wicklow.
All right, good stuff. And what's the history of this place? Why is here good for a paranormal investigation?
We've done paranormal investigations here. We've done a few publics, a few privates. And at the minute we're in one of the old houses that were here, which would have accommodated staff maybe that worked in the castle. So as I had said to you, this is the courtyard. There's a castle over way beyond that we'll show you later. And people that worked in the castle probably would have lived here, and I think these are probably 60s, 70s. I don't think anybody's lived here since probably then. Chris would be the one that knows a lot of the history about the area. He does. So will I get Chris to come over and just to explain a little bit of the history?
Much, Chris? No, that's okay. I will make reference. It did used to be what do you call it? Like a haunted theme park, or what would you describe it?
Yeah, so Glenart was a scare attraction, and it closed down in 2019 when COVID hit. So unfortunately it closed down. So when we walk around, they closed the doors and left it as is. So there's a lot of the artifacts still hanging, and the old coffins and the where we are at the minute.
I will make note that we're recording this podcast on top of a plywood coffin. I just like to say it's a prop never used.
Yeah.
So we're here doing a paranormal investigation. Can you walk us through exactly what that is, what a paranormal investigation entails?
If we're doing, there's two types that we do. One would be private house investigation, totally different than the public investigations. So we would be here trying to connect with the spirits that may be in this area. That's literally, so people that have worked here, died here, lived here, and also spirits that could be on the land before there was even buildings here.
Wow. And what kind of kit do you use to do that, or what methods do you use to conduct a paranormal investigation?
We use recorders, which is the Tascam. So that's where we would see if possibly we could catch anomalies. Billy is our sound guy, and he goes home and he puts it up on his computer and sees if we caught any anomalies. But then we have K2s, which is, they say that spirits they have energy, so if they come near it they can set off the lights. A lot of the equipment would be a lot of lights going off, and that's what we use for public investigations. So they would be vibrations, temperature changes, all things like that. But we have voice boxes, PSB 7, PSB 11, and they would be spirits may be able to manipulate radio frequencies. So that can, if we're looking for an intelligent answer, so the radio would scan forward and backwards, and we'd ask a question and see if we get intelligent answers.
Cool. Well, you mentioned about a public investigation. How come those are different, or what do those entail?
A public investigation, you could have between 20 and 50, 60 people. And they would be people that like to come to a supposedly haunted location with people. It would be controlled. So you'd have permission to come onto the land, into the houses, and you'd be with a team that would have the equipment, and it's just more controlled. They want to connect with the spirits that's on the land, you know what I mean? So, and they're good fun.
Do you still do them? It sounds pretty fun.
We haven't done them in around, I'd say, a year. We haven't done a public because we have been concentrating more. We've podcast out as well, but we've been concentrating more on a few things. We went to America, and we've been traveling a lot more and doing a lot more like that. Right. So we haven't been doing the publics.
Oh, cool. We'll come to those, but I want to circle back to, you said something there, somewhere that's seemingly haunted is how you phrased it. If to be a paranormal investigator, it was believing for certain in the paranormal a prerequisite, or can you be skeptical, or
you could be skeptical? A lot of our team is quite skeptical. Now, you see, there's a difference. So skeptical is, I think I'd be a skeptic, but I think that enough things have happened to make me believe something is there, I just don't know what it is. Then there's cynics, they believe in nothing. So none of the team are cynics, but we'd be skeptics. So I think to be an investigator, I think you have to believe in something. You know what I mean? Even if it's, I don't know what's there, but there's something that keeps you interested.
And on like, how did you actually come together? How did the team come together? Who started it, and how long ago?
I started it, and I think it was 10 years ago. Is it or 7? What is it, Chris? 2016.
That's 8 years, is it?
8 years ago.
Wow, something else.
Yeah, I started it. I was on another team, and I decided with all the work I was doing, I might as well set up my own. And Billy was on the other team with me. And so was Wayne. So they were 3 members. So Billy and Wayne came with me. So the 3 of us then started up PRI. And then Chris joined nearly straight away. And Jake has sort of always been there as well. And Bridget and Sinead. That's everybody, is it?
Wow.
Yeah.
When you go on, was that 6 or 7 people you named there? Or 7. And when you go on an investigation, does all 7 go?
Very rarely.
Very rarely, yeah.
Yeah, very rarely.
When you go, does everyone have a different role? Like, does one person have this job, another person this role? Or what kind of jobs can those be? Everybody
has a different interest. So Bridget would be very into the dowsing rods and the planchette and things like that.
Right.
Billy would be very into old style investigating. So he uses his senses, as in Billy would go into a dark room just with a recorder, and he could stay there for 2 hours seeing if he could get any interaction, but he really doesn't use any of the equipment. Chris likes the equipment. He would be one of the equipment guys. So would Jake be, really, wouldn't he? And me, I'm not a psychic or a medium, so I would use the piece of the equipment as well.
Right, cool. Is there many paranormal investigation teams working across Ireland today?
Oh my God, loads now. Yeah. Like when I first started a long time ago, there was very little. I didn't really see a lot. But then as you get into it, you find out more. But there's there's loads now.
Wow. I got distracted looking at my questions there for a minute.
No, you're right.
And we're outside Arklow right now in Glenard, which is it?
Glenard
with a T.
With a T.
Glenard with a T. Do you travel much around the country to go paranormal investigating?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've been in every part of Ireland. Yeah.
Cool. Is it? I'm just gonna list off a few places. And I know for sure that you've been in some of these because I've heard you say it in podcasts and this kind of thing. Some of them I'm actually not sure about, so maybe you've been, maybe you haven't, but I want to hear your opinion on it if you've been there and if you've not, and what's it like there. Is it, easy one, Loftus Hall?
Do you want me to say?
Well, have you been there, yeah?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Like had the keys for Loftus, yeah. We were the first team, the first investigator to ever investigate Loftus Hall.
Really?
Yeah.
But that's like prime real estate, I would have thought, for that, for investigating, no?
Unbelievable. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Loftus Hall went viral back in the day because a photograph...
Ghosts.
Turn this, sorry.
By the way, is ghost or spirit the correct term, or is there much?
People call it different things. Yeah, I don't get annoyed if somebody says ghost or spirit. Everybody says their own thing.
Fair. Yeah,
either of them.
Yeah, I should probably mention, because I asked Loftus Hall. Loftus Hall is a ruined manor house in County Wexford on the Hook Peninsula.
Yeah,
and it's from the I want to say 16th century. Yeah, thereabouts.
No, come here. Hold on.
Yeah.
So, to speak about Loftus, I want Chris to come over to speak about Loftus. So, in you go, Chris.
In you go, Chris.
I'm going to stand because I'm not as polite. Actually, I may sit down. Yes. So yeah, Loftus, there was a building on the site, and Loftus Hall since the 1100s. But the current building was there since about the 16. Now, went through a lot of renovations and stuff like that. But the legend associated with it, when the devil is said to have visited the house, happened in the 1700s, 1765. And a very long story short, to say the devil visited the house, there was a card game. The lady of the house dropped the card on the ground. She went down to pick it up, and when she looked across underneath the table, there was a cloven hoof for a foot. He burst into a ball of flames, went out through the roof, and she went into madness. And they locked her away for 10 years, give or take, in the tapestry room where she actually died. And there was an exorcism carried out in the house. And apparently, when they were renovating the house, they found the skeletal remains of a child in the walls in there as well. So there's a lot of lore, a lot of legends, but the building itself is just phenomenal.
And there's much of a paranormal presence you detected there?
As a team, yeah, there was quite a bit. We never say evidence, but we'll call it anomaly. Or it's where we got our most interesting nights down there. And members of the public, yeah, very interesting nights. A lot of people walked in there, weren't believing in it, and they walked out with a totally different scenario.
Brilliant. People can't really get in there anymore, can they? Or what's
no,
the situation?
it's been turned, apparently it's been turned into a hotel now at the moment, so it's owned by a different owner now, but it's completely locked off. And yeah, it was definitely it was a love of the team, to be honest.
You're lucky you got in when you did.
Absolutely.
I'm going to list off a couple more places,
Yeah,
just
I'll swap
'cause
back
I don't
over
want to
to
keep you
Tina.
guys waiting too long or anything either. Well, let's see who knows this. Okay. Let's see. Cooneen Ghost House, County Fermanagh.
Where at it? Jump in there.
No, go on.
They're fighting over the space for the microphone.
Yeah, we're actually up at it, yeah.
So Cooneen Ghost House, County Fermanagh, and
Yeah.
outside Enniskillen. Me and him were there actually recently. I'm pointing to my producer Miles. So did you investigate there?
No, it was literally just, we had a quick walk around because it was barriered off.
Oh, yeah.
I actually don't, is the building still actually there?
We were there in October this year. Last month. Yeah, geez, that's only a few weeks ago. Ages ago. Yeah, but no, it's the gate's still around it, but you can. It's still, the building's still there.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I didn't go inside.
No,
yeah.
we just literally went up one after. It was myself, Tina, Jake, and Sinead at the time, I think it was. And we just went up and had a look around it, and it was actually snowing.
Oh, unreal! Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, it was definitely a very interesting place. I actually forget, wasn't that the one, Tina, where the poltergeist followed the family?
Seemingly to America.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
in 1911, I want to
Yeah,
say.
it's very.
It was in 1911,
it's
a
very,
poltergeist report, and
Yeah,
I think it was in the newspapers even
think
at
it
the
was in the
time.
newspaper,
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
And,
a very modern case, really.
Yeah, and it's one of the most famous poltergeist cases in Ireland.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we were there.
No word of a lie, a few months ago, I made a video about Cooneen Ghost House in October. Months before that, someone DM'd me on Weird Ireland saying she was a descendant of. She asked, "Oh, do you know much about Cooneen Ghost House?" I'm descended from the Murphys that came from there. And this is one in America.
All right.
And I was like, all right, I've no way of. I don't disbelieve her. I don't know why someone messaged me something
cool,
thing
of
like
course,
that.
yeah, yeah.
That's nonsense, but I mean, it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know if you could detect a presence there because of,
No,
you didn't
as I
have
say,
the
we
stuff.
just had a quick walk. We didn't even have the equipment. We just had a look around, took a few pictures. It's just to say that we seen it and we
Yeah.
were there. Basically, was the purpose of the trip that day.
Okay. How about Charleville Castle, County Offaly, outside Tullamore?
Charleville. Yeah, we were there as well. Did we do with TV3 at the time? Yeah, we were there.
Were you trying to remember which one was that?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
time were we?
Because there's Charleville, Kinnahy, and Lep.
Oh, they're
Castle.
all in Offaly, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And there's
they're not
actually
far.
another one that's not as well known. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that. Yeah.
But yeah, we done a bit of filming down there actually at the time with was it TV3? Whatever it was, but yeah, we done a bit down there as well.
With investigation.
Paranormal,
equipment?
yeah. It was for a Halloween special.
Oh, cool.
Jeez, how long ago was that, Tina?
6 years ago.
Yeah, so good. It's pre-COVID.
Wow.
That's a really cool building now. The people were brilliant in it, and again, it was very. like we didn't have full reign of the place because it was very TV based.
People live in there too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
but yeah, it's another interesting spot we've been in. Yeah,
did
absolutely.
you detect much of a presence there?
At the time, bits and pieces on the equipment and stuff like that, but nothing from my point of view where I'm kind of standing out, running from the building or anything. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Where are you up in the room? Will I go in?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Just remember.
Yeah, tell me a bit more about the story, because I actually have been in Charleville Castle, and I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. But I actually don't really know the lore of it, to be honest, or the history of it.
Oh,
Wait. What were you going to say, Mary? Who's Mary?
when we were filming there, they took the investigation serious. So like it was a proper investigation. Yeah. And she was in the room. What was her name? Mary Bourne. So I don't know. Do you remember years ago, Ireland's Got Talent? And Mary, Mary Bourne, she was the lady, I think she worked in Tesco, and she made it big.
That was the X Factor. That wasn't even Ireland's Got Talent. She was in the X Factor UK. Yeah.
That's who we were with that night. And she'd be a believer. And I think when we were up in one of the rooms,
I remember
she came running out. She was absolutely petrified. So she said she's seen and she was tipped. And so she got a lot of activity there.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's meant to be one of the most haunted places in Ireland.
With your expertise, would you agree with that position, or where else ranks up as that?
I think Charleville Castle. It's just hard to get a proper investigation because, as you say, it's people are living there. You have to respect it. Leap Castle is another place, so that's the haunted triangle: Leap, Kinnity, and Charleville. And Leap Castle probably is one of the places that you would definitely. You'd have to add in there, people
live
come
there, I think.
Yeah, Sean.
Yeah. All right.
Sean Ryan.
He's known as
Sean Ryan lives there with his wife, and we've sat speaking to them at night time and all. They're absolutely lovely.
Brilliant.
So he is a traditional music. He plays the whistle, the tin whistle, and he tells stories. So have you been there?
No, I've never been in it.
You'd have to go.
Near it. There's been ones.
He'd give you a tour, you give a donation, like whatever, because he's not government funded,
Yeah.
So all his money he gets off donations and renting the castle out. You can rent it for a full night, and you can spend the night. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So no, you wouldn't sleep there.
Yeah.
Like you'd literally be there, sort of doing your investigation or filming or whatever you're doing. But there's not beds or you share your toilet with him. He comes out. If he has to use the loo, he stays in the kitchen part. It's really weird, but he's great. And Leap, although I've investigated there maybe 10 times, I've never personally seen or felt anything, but that's not to say it's not haunted, because that's meant to be one of the most haunted. I mean, people come from America, so that's meant, it's well known around the world, Leap Castle is.
Wow.
And there's meant to be an elemental there.
And what's an elemental?
So that is a spirit that is from the land. Yeah.
Oh, it's not a dead person.
No.
Irish, very old, ancient Irish spirit. They come from water.
Do you want to come into the microphone?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So this is Billy.
Yeah. This is Billy coming in here to tell us a bit about elementals.
An elemental would be a spirit that would be kind of born from the landscape, and it would be from water, trees and stuff like that, but it's supposed to be a very ugly spirit, and it smells. There's a very pungent smell off it.
Might be one over in
I think
the dog, the Springer Spaniel.
Yeah. But so people have apparently seen it. I think in the early 1900s the last sighting of it was in Leap Castle, but it's really, really interesting spirit.
Well, I wanted to ask you, because the question I did have was because you guys investigate spirits, ghosts, whatever people might say, but in Ireland, people will talk about the puka, or people will talk about even the devil or the divil, if you will, or demons, this kind of thing. Do you investigate something in this area? Are these similar phenomenon? Or are these related things?
For anything dark and demonic, we kind of we pass on to another guy called Gavin Canavan, and he's a demonologist.
Oh wow!
I think he's
you refer someone to a specialist, is the
a specialist. But like a regular haunting, you can talk about that more in a minute. But a regular haunting would be kind of people would contact us, but Tina and Chris and stuff like that, it's not just where we go straight to the location. There's interviews. You have to interview the people first to make sure that they're sane, number one. That and Tina would be more of an expert in that kind of field. So what way would you go about doing your interviews and stuff, Tina, for the hauntings in a house?
Change places.
Sorry.
We'll come to the end of this. Well, actually, how long are we really doing this? Like 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Is that it? I was keeping worried that we're.
It's because you're bent over.
I guess so. Maybe that's it. Wait, I'm losing that there. Yeah. God. It's going pretty rapid fire though. Yeah. What were we doing? We're talking interviewing.
Well, private house investigation. Yeah.
Okay.
You just get people to take a log. Cut that out.
Keep that in.
To keep a log book.
Yeah.
To keep a logbook of things that happened. So they could say, because you want to find out, there's different types of haunting. So there's residual haunting, and there'd be an intelligent haunting. So a residual would be something that is, they just play out every day at the same time. So, it would be nearly like a video camera playing a film. So it could be one spirit every Tuesday that would walk across this, the floor. And then there's the intelligent hauntings, which is one that would interact with you.
Right.
So the intelligent haunt. So you want to keep a logbook so people can write down. So then when you go in to investigate the house, well, we'll come on Tuesday or we come on Thursday, and then you'll know more about what type of haunting you're dealing with. If it's demonic or if it's dark, or there's a demonologist that lives in Wicklow as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's Gavin Canavan, demonologist, and we would refer to him. We don't mess with the darker stuff.
Okay.
You just don't mess with that.
Does he perform exorcisms? Or
No, he would go in. He's very closed off about what he does. I worked with him for a while. So, I went along with him. I didn't work with him. I went along with him for a while to help him out. And he would do clearings, and he works a lot with religion. So he'd remove the bad. He does.
A clearing is to remove a bad energy, or
there's certain things he does, and it's all working with religion. So he would do prayers and things like that. He works with holy water, and he'd work with the person. There's certain things that he has to do. It's like it's not an exorcism because he's not a priest, but there's names like he'd be. I think you can only do an exorcism if you're a priest with the church. He's not, so he'd be one below, let's say.
Do you think?
Yeah, but it's more than a cleansing. Yeah, cleansing sounds a little bit tame for what he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think he'd be open to a podcast?
I think he does do podcasts. Yeah, I can.
Oh, really?
Does he have his own? Oh, I didn't hear that. But I can give you his number and all. Yeah.
If you think you'd be keen for that kind of thing, that might be kind of cool. Yeah. I was going to ask you, because you did mention earlier in the USA. What were you guys doing there? Were you there as the team, as PRI?
No, we went there with PRI. Yeah, we went there with Chris. So Chris on the team is a horror author, and so it's Chris Rush Horror Author. So he has his own page and everything, and he has 8 books. 7, one on the way. Okay. And so we went over there because he went over there to promote across the sea. So this is our second year going over. We were over in Connecticut last year at this convention. So it was, do you know Ed and Lorraine Warren?
No.
So the Warrens. So he was a demonologist, famous. You know, all the Annabelle doll and the Conjuring movies and...
I've got I actually do have questions about movies at the end in a bit, but I will make it known now. I have an unfair bias against immense movies that look too new.
Oh, I
watch a lot of black and white movies.
Yeah. Well, they are like world renowned. Everybody, I mean, they worked in cases over in the UK as well. Both of them are dead now. I think Lorraine Warren only died a couple of years ago. So they do a big convention, their daughter and her husband, so Tony Spira and the daughter. So it's a huge convention, and paranormal, horror, everything. So Chris goes over there to promote his books.
Cool.
And he got a stall, and we went over there helping them and promoting us, PRI as well, Paranormal Researchers Ireland. So, it was a benefit to everybody. But we go over there for a week each year, around the Halloween time. So it's great fun.
Brilliant.
We meet loads.
Is it spooky as a Halloweeny in Pennsylvania or Connecticut around then?
My God, America's totally different to Ireland.
Yeah.
Literally. We were over there in September. And they were starting the Halloween in September. They were starting it. They literally, Halloween is huge over there.
Wow. Yeah,
huge.
We were me and Miles were out actually for a Halloween in Athboy. We made a video, but then in Mullingar,
It was
nothing.
No.
Swing was
Is
Thursday.
it gas?
We actually went to the origins of Halloween in Owen the Gat.
Oh, we've made videos there. Have
Did
you
you get-
investigated there? Is that a doable thing?
We went down.
We've been in it.
Yeah,
Did you
I've
go
been
down?
down the bottom as well. Yeah.
We have a very funny story.
Literally, that's where we got one of our anomalies as well.
Really?
Yeah.
You brought your equipment.
Yeah, we brought our equipment down into the cave.
Do tell.
So
Onyagat is a natural limestone cave in limestone, I believe, in County Roscommon near Tulsk. It's about 30 meters in length. It's not especially deep. It's got a small opening in a field. It's 2 openings.
Oh, it's two chambers.
2 chambers. Yeah. And there is lots of lore and mythology surrounding it about how it's the home of Halloween or it's the gate to the underworld.
Morrigan.
And the Morrigan, I don't. That's like a war goddess, isn't it? Yeah. But beyond that, it's actually a very historical area, the Rathcroghan complex. But yeah, onto the investigation, because I've never even thought about someone doing an investigation there.
Yeah, we went down. So there was me, Billy, Chris, Sinead, 4 of us. Yeah. So the 4 of us went down, and we just brought down the recorder because that's all you'd need down there. Black dark.
Yeah.
And
Muck.
oh my God!
Any doesn't matter how dry it is outside. Doesn't matter.
When I first went in.
Yeah, Billy first went in, so we were standing outside, and Billy first went in, and he crawls in, and you guys have been there, so you know it's literally a tiny little hole in a field, and Billy crawled in, and next minute a cat goes meow, and a black cat legged it out. I thought Billy went in and stuck his finger. I don't know what was going on. A black cat literally legged it out, and Billy came out. He didn't know what was after happening.
And Onyagat means it's meant to be in Cave of the Cats.
Cave of the
I will
Cats.
say there is a house next door to it, and they have a lot of cats.
I know. Yeah. So obviously, and that cat wasn't expecting Billy, and Billy wasn't expecting the cat.
Yeah.
They scared each other. But we went down, and we only brought the recorder, and we all spaced out. It's very confined space, but we all spaced out. And then Chris said, because we had heard things, so we knew there was dripping, as you know. So we knew there was dripping, but it was black dark. You could cut the darkness with a knife, and it was really silent other than the dripping. And then, was it you, Chris, that said, if you're really here, or if there is somebody here, I want you
So you can hear us.
to take a step.
Walk up behind Billy.
Walk up behind Billy. And then all of us were standing, and next minute you hear 2 footsteps.
We'll actually send you the audio.
Do, yeah.
You can hear
Will I insert it right now into the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sweet.
well, don't forget to send it.
I'll send you.
Step through the mud on the floor first so we can hear you. Walk up towards us. What is that? Is that one of us? I don't know.
And you can hear it, and then you hear us turning our torches on and looking on the ground to see who moved. But we all trust each other. We know nobody moved, and nobody's feet had moved. There was no mark. Literally, that's one thing that did make you think.
I just like to straight away with the torch. Don't move. Don't move.
There was the footstep. Nobody moved.
Wow.
Nobody moved, and to me that was impressive. Like we.
Brilliant. And what would that be, an elemental, or would this be a
No,
spirit,
that would have
or-
been. I mean, with all the stuff that goes on there, because when you're going down there, you can see all the candles. People go down there and
yeah,
do things
big
and do
time.
it. You don't know what people are doing down there, but it wouldn't be. I don't think an elemental. You just don't know. I mean, do people do?
There, like, there was no
Oh,
one
yeah.
there.
It was only the 4
There's nowhere for them to hide if there is someone else there.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
Nowhere.
you've been, so
I've
you know
been, yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about. No, it was something moved, and it wasn't any of us, and we can just say that it's something that we can't debunk.
Yeah.
Literally, we can't debunk it.
Wow.
So, but it was really interesting, and we stayed down there. I mean, we were down there for an hour or so, a couple hours. You know what I mean?
A couple of hours in on you
standing. But that's what investigating is. It's literally just standing and waiting for hours and hours and hours. You could go somewhere and you could stay for 2 days, and there's not one bit of activity.
Yeah.
And then another day, all hell could break loose. You just don't know.
And
That's the way investigating is.
And in the Loftus Hall case, were you actually literally sleeping in it? Like,
oh God,
you mentioned
yeah.
that,
I've slept many nights in Loftus Hall.
Brilliant.
Myself and Wayne, like on our own, just 2 of us.
So that's days at a time of investigating.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there was one night that we were staying, and so we were in Loftus Hall, and we walked down to the coffee shop bit, and there was 2 adults and 2 kids or whatever in the like 10, 11, 12, black dark, Hook Peninsula, and they were standing looking in the window at us. And I said to Wayne, don't make eye contact. Wayne's like, I wish people could see where this podcast is being done.
Well,
the wall is
taken,
falling. And I was saying, I don't even know how they got there. So Loftus Hall, they would have had to get over big gates. They would have had to drag kids over a gate. It was like Children of the Corn. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And I rang the owner, and he said, I'm going to put something on. He said, they shouldn't be there. I'm going to put on the speaker, the security. You're being recorded. You need to leave the premises now. And next minute, like that, they were gone.
Wow.
Didn't see them walking off, nothing. They just gone. It was the weirdest place, Loftus Hall.
Was it modern looking apparel kind of thing, or clothes, or like, did you remember what did they look like?
Literally in my head, what I remember, and your mind can be really weird because it can change pictures and all. In my head, it was just jeans and a t-shirt or something, and the same, but they were just standing looking in at us. That's what was weird. Like, why would adults have kids or have a kid there, and why are they Hook Head? Like, you're literally in the middle of nowhere. There's no other houses.
Yeah.
There's no street lights. There's no shops. There's no car. Like,
I've got to go.
Yeah.
I've never been to Hook Peninsula.
We stayed there another night, and do you remember the night we were?
you have to, if you're going to.
Is Billy coming in now?
Billy coming in now. We actually, myself, Tina, and some of the old kind of members of the team that aren't on it anymore stayed there one night. Do you remember the night we were sleeping there? And I would sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
I could sleep standing up. Doesn't bother me. And we were asleep on the mattresses on the floor in the tapestry room, I think, Tina. And Tina and Wayne woke up and they could hear footsteps. They couldn't sleep. So Tina heard footsteps walking up towards myself and to where there was another person sleeping on the in her sleeping bags. And she turned on her torch and the footsteps walked over towards me, I think it was, wasn't it? And she turned on the torch and there was nobody there. Everyone was asleep and nobody was moving, but she heard footsteps.
And Wayne.
And Wayne.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 2 people that corroborated kind of thing. What do you think is the most compelling anomaly you've encountered?
In Loftus or
in
like
general?
in general?
Yeah.
The Cave of Cats, definitely.
Really? That one, yeah? Wow.
yeah.
So it was actually very marked, the anomaly.
There's 2 types of EVP. There's an AVP, which is an actual voice phenomenon, and then EVP, which is electric voice phenomenon. So actual voice phenomenon is something that you hear there as you're conducting the investigation.
Yeah.
So if you've heard it audio, you've heard the audio there, and you've captured it on the audio recorder.
Yeah.
So it's an actual voice phenomenon. So with that, everybody heard it. We knew nobody moved, and Chris turned on his torch straight away, and everyone was standing there. You'll hear us on the recording where everyone is as shocked as each other when we got it.
Wow, cool, awesome. I was going to ask you guys. I mean, have you ever gone to the UK doing this?
Over in Edinburgh.
Oh, cool. We used to live there.
Over you go.
Yeah. Both of us did, yeah. Not at the same time. Miles lived there for a year. I lived there for 3.5 years. Yeah, it's unreal. Yeah, it's actually it's a beautiful looking city, but on top of that, if you're living there, it's actually really hip and there's a lot going on. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, big time.
When was that? We done a night in the Edinburgh Vaults.
Oh, I never went there, surprisingly.
Oh, really?
I guess I lived there, so I didn't think to do it.
We were actually locked in, weren't we? We actually, if we wanted to leave, we couldn't leave. We were locked in for the whole night, and it was very hard to actually investigate, wasn't it? Because there's a nightclub very close by.
Yeah.
And
Hive? Hive. Yeah. Hive.
Is it?
Yeah.
And even the what do you call it? The dry ice or the smoke was coming into where we were.
Yeah.
And the noise is very hard to investigate. But yeah, we spent the night. Lovely city. Absolutely loved it. And the experience of doing that was phenomenal. As regards history, the vaults, I'm not very aware, but I know the stone circle. It's meant to be a circle of entrapment. They're meant to have trapped an evil entity or something bad energy in there. And when we're doing the tour, do you remember that? When we're doing the tour, now I'm not in any way, shape or form one of these guys that taunts or disrespect anything at all like that. I just want to experience it with kind of a level head, so to speak. So I got into the circle after the introduction. I didn't feel anything like that. But a really funny story is that that was during the public tour. Then after the public tour, we started investigating around that circle. And I was in there with K2. Then I sat outside it with the PSB7. And after the investigation, when it was over, Tina didn't want to get into the circle because what way did you word it? You have enough of bad luck, even though she didn't believe in the.
They say if you stand in, you can have
bad luck. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I said I've enough of bad luck. So I said I'm not getting into it.
She said she had enough of bad luck, and I goes, oh, no problem. So we're finishing up there in that location and just going down the steps to the next location, and Tina had realised the K2 was left in the circle, but so she stepped in and took it out. And I goes, Tina, look at where you are. There was 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and she only realised she was inside in the circle. But yeah, we've been to the Edinburgh Vaults. We went to Prague, not investigating. Where it was just more of a kind of a trip, which was amazing as well. Even the Church of Bones and all over there was phenomenal. We've been to America. Yeah, so we're trying our best to get to anywhere and everywhere that we can.
Brilliant, yeah.
That's basically what the plan is now.
I was going to ask you about your plans now. I got just 2 more questions, I guess, for you guys, because, well, you know, we've all got things to do, I guess.
Yeah, you're all right.
One, no, it's just because you guys have a podcast that started this year, the Paranormal Researchers Ireland podcast, so PRIP.
Yeah.
PRIP.
I never even thought of that.
No, the PRIP.
The Pripcast. We was actually saying it to the rest of them, but I never even noticed. Yeah, we started that in. It was just a thing we said we may as well start doing because it is actually a bit of fun.
Yeah.
We get together like once a week. We pick a topic and we just talk about it. It's very laid back. It's very unstructured, and we do a bit of research and we just have a chat about it. What's our thoughts on it? What do we think? And just give the kind of main bullet points of that topic, so to speak. We've done a lot of stuff in Ireland, and now we're starting to do like international stuff and like that as well, as regards to the podcast.
Would you look to grow in any other media ways? Like you've got, you do a bit of social media, you've got a podcast, you know.
Social media's been fantastic to us. Like we've a lot of followers on there. Podcast is going really good. Personally, I'm sure the guys will agree, I'd love to do YouTube as well. Would you agree with that?
I'd love it.
Yeah.
It's a tough game.
It is
I'd
tough.
love to do it too.
It is tough. But the podcast has been really good to us, and like even like chatting to yourselves and all, it's good to connect with other people as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Interests, you know.
Delight come down with this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, it's going good, and we plan to keep. We had said we'll do it for a little while, see how it goes, but now the plan is we're just going to keep doing it now.
Really?
Why stop?
And I want to lastly ask you guys, maybe individually, if you got an answer, is there any particular paranormal films that's your favourite one or that's influenced you?
The Exorcist.
The Exorcist, the 1970s.
Yeah. I just think it's a great. Like it even stands up today.
Yeah.
It's one of my like go-to films. If anyone's thinking about like there's numerous of them out. I'm not going to name them off because the guys will probably kill me. It's probably I'll be here all night. But no, The Exorcist is the kind of first one that really stands out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my pick. Do you want to jump in? Yeah,
On the note of The Exorcist, I'll mention, even if, in my opinion, I love the movie. Even if you took out anything to do with demons in it, it's a really well-made movie. It's a really well-made, acted. I think it's tremendous. Yeah.
I'm one of the Bill again here. Sorry,
Hi, Bill.
I'm one of the oldest members on the team, so I remember Children of the Corn and Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's the 80s. The 80s one. Yeah, Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn, fantastic movie. The Omen. same as Chris, basically. Anything that's kind of horror. I'm more into the kind of psychological horror than the gory horror. You know, so that's what really gets me. And like that movie White Noise.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I'm Batman was in it.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton's in it. It's actually about EVPs and stuff like that. But they actually used infrasound in the movie.
Oh, cool.
And infrasound obviously can mess with your head and stuff like that. But and they've used real EVPs in the movie, real audio and stuff like that. It's a really cool movie. Check it out.
Did you ever hear of The Tenant, Roman Polanski?
Yeah.
Just a big psychological horror movie, that one. I think that one's terrific.
Yeah, it's a brilliant movie, yeah.
Check it out too. Well,
yeah,
that's not.
definitely. Yeah.
Do you have any movie picks, Tina?
My Little Pony.
No, mine would be The Exorcist. So mine isn't, it's not new movies. But you know what I watched last night? You see, I'm not big into watching telly. Like, I don't watch TV. But what I did watch last night was The Exorcism of Jane Doe. I thought I had seen that.
Oh, the autopsy of Jane Doe.
The autopsy. So I thought that I had seen it because Chris had said, did you see the autopsy of Jane Doe? You've said that to me around 10 times. And I said, yeah. But I was thinking of the autopsy of...
Alien Autopsy.
No, because I don't watch any alien movies.
I'm thinking of that, Exit Memory Rolls, yeah.
Yeah, I was... Anyway, I thought of a different one. So I sat down last night and I watched that one. And it's actually really good. The autopsy of Jane Doe. And that would be very, like, spooky and demonic and... Like really is.
How recent is that?
20.
It's fresh enough. Like
yeah.
2015.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, and I was surprised for a newer one because the newer ones are always crap.
I think one of the best horror movies of the last 10 years is Hereditary.
Hereditary is brilliant.
Is that the one where spoiler anyone for the next 15 seconds? Does a kid get decapitated?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Hereditary. That was really good as well. Hereditary is excellent.
Yeah.
And that when you said Hereditary, the first thing I thought of was the kid getting decapitated.
Yeah.
That's...
Some movie talk in the back there.
Yeah, so that was a good one as well.
All right, groovy, yeah. I mean, I think we'll just go along we're on here kind of thing. No, I think we're doing really good kind of thing. I'm just gonna wrap up now. But Tina, can you tell anybody where people can get Paranormal Researchers Ireland?
So Paranormal Researchers Ireland on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Well, you can't get us on Spotify, but you can listen to us on Spotify. We've got the podcast out as well.
Can you get it anywhere else than Spotify, like Apple Podcasts?
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's on all platforms. Okay. Yeah,
good
it's
stuff.
on all platforms. So
YouTube as well.
yeah, I don't think it's been put up much on YouTube. I don't know, but no, there's a YouTube channel, but it's not being used. Literally, we have it there waiting if we do something. There's a few of the podcasts being put up on it.
Yeah, there is a way, by the way, of doing the RSS feed, so it goes automatically on the YouTube. I do that for my one, for this one.
Oh,
yeah,
because Jake does the YouTube, so. Yeah, because that'd be handy.
It is handy. It's very handy.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do anything extra because anything extra you just couldn't bother. But YouTube's a great place to put them, do you know?
Yeah, that's handy. That's handy.
Do you have any public investigations or any events like that coming up?
We don't, because we really, at one stage, we were doing all the publics. That's literally, we done Loftus, Spike Island, Wicklow Jail, Lep Castle. We were doing all locations. And I personally made the decision to pull right back from it because it's a lot of work and we've other things to be doing as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I pulled right back from the publics.
Spike Island. I actually did that on the list. I had that on the list there to ask about Spike Island. I'm going to very quickly tell you what was on the list exactly, whether we mention it or not, unless you want to
say yes or no.
Just say yes or no. Okay. Yeah. Hellfire Club.
Yeah. Oh, one of our favourite.
Athlone Castle.
No.
Leap Castle is on this too. Spike Island.
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh!
I was cracking my fingers.
What's the best thing I missed?
I don't know. You see, Hellfire Club is my favourite.
Yeah. You didn't say Wicklow Jail?
No, I didn't know.
That's a really good spot as well.
That's a good spot.
Wicklow on top with all this.
Hellfire Club is probably...
Hellfire Club's up there.
That's deadly. Yeah.
I've never been there in general.
You've never?
Never, no.
Because it was either
I know, I really should.
It was either there or here tonight that I was
really?
going to, yeah.
Oh.
But then the Hellfire Club, you can't be sure that there's not going to be anybody up there. It's public.
Yeah.
It's not secure.
It's
No.
not. So this was the only secure place. You couldn't have set up your podcast right up there.
No, God, no. And I'm glad coming here. I'll find another chance to go to Hellfire. It's still on the list. Here, I would never end up coming here. Yeah, go on. All right, well, that's it for now. I want to thank my producer Miles for producing this show. I'd like to thank Tina, Billy, and Chris of Paranormal Researchers Ireland for being a part of this interview. And I'd like to thank you for listening. Thanks for listening, and see you somewhere else in the Weird Ireland podcast.